Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
so we're still good there. Okay, all right, let's get Derby on that wave. Gotta remember how to use. There we go. Okay. Yeah, no, between honestly, it's really Diablo, and I'm playing Diablo. I fucking went and I bought Diablo for the PC in addition to having it on the Xbox, where I got it.
You love
I
you're a Diablo
I know it's
sicko.
it's it's so I'm. This is Alexis's fault, and then all the homies picked up Diablo 2 to like just like fuck around and
Oh,
play Diablo
okay.
together. So now
Why not?
I'm like, this game is actually fun. Like it feels like the way Diablo 3 felt when you're doing it with your homies and you're just teleporting from dungeon to dungeon, like nightmare dungeon to nightmare dungeon, and just like steamrolling things. Then
Sure.
it feels good. The rest of the game feels like fucking miserable. And
It's
there's no reason for them to have done this way.
it's a weird thing how like, and I've noticed this in a lot of games recently that I've been playing, that how like certain parts of games feel really great and then the rest feels like filler that was meant to sort of like justify those parts. And I mean it sort of feels like the Call of Dutyfication of video games, where it's like, yeah, we put that in so we could publish the game, like with the story mode in those games, but really we wanted the multiplayer.
Look at that big boy over there with the axe and the spiky armor.
No, I don't want to meet him ever in
No, I
PvP.
don't want to meet him in PvP.
He's scary.
Let's wave at the people. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the best of all possible souls, our Dark Souls 3 Let's Play. It's me, Dia, and I'm here with the intrepid Derby and my fabulous co-host, Trevor Strong. Trevor, say hi.
Hi everyone. Hi Dia. Hi Derby. It's
It's
really
good.
nice to be back.
It's so good to be back. June was a hell month. It was just so busy, and like I know it was a hell month for you. It was a hell month for me. I ended up having to overhaul my computer because it started completely fucking up, and it became
Ugh.
just a big like a you know a congressional like boondoggle project for real. But now, unlike the F-35, which is neither low cost, lightweight, or multi role, um, my new computer, it's ready to go. It was expensive, and
I've always said that you are more competent than the Department of Defense, and I'm glad that the people finally can see what I'm talking about
yeah,
here.
suck my dick, McDonnell Douglas. Um, It's so funny how like I just this is like been coming up like so frequently for me, but like how like the chart that everyone likes to broad out of like, oh, America spends 500 times the next three nations below us combined on military funding, and it's just like, Russia's got fucking hypersonic missiles and we don't have them.
Yeah. I
Like we
mean,
can't get
it's
up we can't build a fucking multi-role fighter jet to save our lives anymore. Um,
it's funny that Russia basically did both versions of the middle ground we're taking, where like, with the USSR the idea would be like it's pure, like it's just government contracting. It's pure like on the state. We're not like, this is Russia making these things. And then now it's like they're so much more oligarchical than us. They do it so much purer that it's just like it's graphed all the way up, and it's like, man, the products are so much better though. It's like, why'd that happen? Like, we, our system sucks both ways. I thought we'd at least win in the capitalism
yeah,
games, but
you'd think, but no, like no, just capitalism sucks it. Even like even our military technology is fucking just like
yeah,
garbage.
yeah, we're not.
It's
It's
just
pretty bad.
like a friend recently was talking about like God, it was I think it was M. M was listening to one of the Blowback podcast, and was just like, God, like the CIA, the only reason like they succeeded at anything is because they managed to just have like the like cheat code of like resources of the United States government, where they
Yeah,
could
yeah.
just fucking brute force throwing money at it and just like going like whatever.
It's I think Blowback's really good. I'm a big fan of the Blowback podcast, and I think like one of the reasons that it's so good is because they really highlight that. Like they're just willing to be like, yeah, and so the CIA got a hold of this, and you know how they work. And it's like, yeah, that is how they work. They just They just cut through all the red tape and are like, let's do this in the most scumbag, money heavy way possible.
Yeah. I understand that the first season is called the annoying season, and like I couldn't get into it, but
Hmm.
maybe one of these days I'll listen to the startup that's the second season.
Yeah, that
Uh,
probably makes sense. I mean, I liked the Iraq War season, okay, but I also can see like it's a little bit like it's such a topic that if you lived through it, it's like, well, I know this kind of stuff. But like the second season, at least, it's like, okay, Cuban Missile Crisis, I wasn't alive for, so let's see what that's all about.
yeah. Um, God. You talking about like the Russia and the Soviet Union really just unlocked a memory of like, I think it was my sixth grade social studies teacher, Mr. Franz,
Oh, Mr.
who
Franz.
Mr. Franz, who was who's like the most piece of shit, like like 80% of the teachers at St. Christopher's, the school I went to, which was
Hmm.
a private Episcopal boys prep school.
Run,
That
of
like
course, by Tom
my
Waits.
mom just like fucking just like worked herself to death to send me to this fucking school
Oh,
because it was considered the best school in Virginia, and it actually was the worst school for me. But
what a mom thing to do! Like,
yeah,
what a perfectly calibrated mom action.
but it turns out that they were like, turbo racist and like
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
very first family of Virginia, and everyone who went there, like, basically, you didn't have to go very far back in their family tree to like, find out that they were all like, slave owning plantation dudes.
Totally. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that adds up. Yeah,
And
of
like
course.
they all like, they very much like, were committed to the war of northern aggression, and the South will rise again. And they didn't actually care if you thought it was hate, not heritage. They were perfectly fine with their heritage being one of hate. Like,
That's so dark.
they absolutely believed that, like, you know, to not be white was like, probably the worst sin you could commit.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Right, and
and
like there was that pastor that was like recorded saying something along the lines of like, uh when people were slaves, they didn't protest, they went to church and repented, and God made them not slaves, which like is monstrous, but also you actually get that literalized version of like the worst sin you could do is to be white. Is to not
yeah,
be white. So you literally must repent, and then maybe something good will happen.
but
So wild.
God, I think it was Tom Franz. He was the he became the head of discipline, which is a role that he absolutely created for himself.
Oh, if you're the head of discipline, if you like actually have that title, you can't be like a chill and good person
It
anymore. You have
was
to look at yourself in the mirror and become a villain.
some of my favorite stories about him like include because he was also like one of the basketball coaches because he was like 6 foot like 7. He was huge. He
Okay,
was
I mean,
really
yeah.
tall, lanky, lurch looking motherfucker. Um, but like he he used to stand up in front in like chapel, and he'd be like, I need to see the following gentleman in the foyer after chapel, um, where he would like basically assign detention,
Okay,
but he always said foyer.
instead
And
of foyer.
yeah, and so one day, like I remember just like my seventh grade homeroom teacher was no, my eighth grade homeroom teacher was my seventh grade English teacher, Mr. Bruner, who ruled. He was like the
Hmm.
one of the first people who ever had my back at St. Christopher's. But like he was just like, I was like, I remember talking about, I'm like, doesn't he fucking know that like we're paying like $15,000 to $18,000 a year for this fucking school, and this motherfucker can't pronounce foyer correctly? And Mr. Bruder like just like kind of just like started chuckling, and then the next fucking day, like we're in chapel, and he's like, I need to see the following young gentleman in the foyer.
He got him.
And I was just like, I remember losing it, just absolutely like burst out flipped
Oh,
out
that's
laughing and got
funny.
detention for a week because of it.
Oh, sure.
But
I mean,
like
yeah,
it was
worth it.
it was so worth it. I was just like, you got fucking stunted on by an English teacher, I'm sure, entirely because I threw a shit fit.
I mean, it was correct. I think if I heard a student say that, I'd be like, yeah, I was just not saying anything to be nice, but
But
they make a good point.
he had two great moments. We're gonna just sit here. We're gonna hang out with our dude Egon over here, and have a moment where Dia remembers things, and everyone's just
I
gonna watching this let's play is gonna have to fucking like deal with it,
We love
because
it.
we're back, baby. We're back on the tangent time. So the first one, and related to the Soviet thing, was one day he just like stopped in the middle of class. We were and like he was responsible for teaching us like, you know, European history, like before the 1600s, basically.
Okay.
And so like at one point he just like stops in the middle of like talking about like this fucking the Norman conquest or whatever, and it's just like, the United States military does not rely on a vast swelling of infantry, like some other lesser nations in the world, like the former Soviet Union, which relied heavily on conscripted soldiers to back up to perform its muscle. And what we rely on is actually the fact that we have significantly superior technology, and our resources, and like the capacity of the United States military really is to be a technological power, and so we don't actually need infantry because we are state of the art, gentlemen. And like it was just like this weird, like,
Wow.
what the fuck are you even talking about, homie?
It must be really cool to actually believe that. Like it must feel really great to
And like
like
this was the
really
era of
think
like,
that.
I think like the F-16 Eagle, like,
Mm-hmm.
eh.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's workable, which is a
Like,
level up on
homie,
our
like
part.
Roy Foker's F14 turned into a robot. Ours don't. We just got Tom Cruise. Eh.
I mean, yeah, it's good if you don't know about the alternatives, but once you know
Um,
about the robot, how are you ever going to look at Tom Cruise the same way?
but the other thing that was really great that he said was he was explaining capitalism and why capitalism was superior to communism,
Okay.
because under capitalism you can start any business you want. For instance, and he pointed to like one of my classmates, Hunter, who was like my friend at the time. He was just like, Hunter here, if he wants to start a bubblegum machine manufacturing company and just make bubblegum machine dispensing machines, he can do that under capitalism. But in the Soviet Union, under communism, he can't do that. Under communism in the Soviet Union, they tell him, Hunter, we don't care that you want to build a bubblegum machine. You're going to go and start a factory and run a factory that makes sprockets. And that's why capitalism is a superior economic system, and why America runs on capitalism. And it was just like,
What in the
what?
world?
What? What, homie?
That rules. What a ridiculous thing.
It was the most like, even like I was
That's
like,
wild.
my understanding of like like socialism at that point, like this is like sixth grade, so like my
Yeah,
understanding of
sure.
socialism at that point was just kind of like, yeah, like there's the Soviet Union. I've seen like enough like 80s like red scare ass movies, and
Yeah, I
then
mean,
like
I think
my
everyone
dad
thinks
was like,
that. Yeah.
had a poster of like Che in like his college dorm, and like was a Dukakis stand. So like that is like
Sure.
my political background at this point. And like even just sitting there in my chair and just being like, I can't believe that I'm in this school. Why am I here? Why is
What
this
is
happening
what
to
is
me?
going on? Like why?
It
Why
was
do I
just
have
like,
to
it was
deal
the
with
most
this?
insane thing in the world. But then like it was great because Hunter like got up out of his chair in the middle of this reverie.
Hmm.
Excuse me. And Hunter would like got up and got a tissue off of the tissue box on Mr. Franz's desk and blew his nose, and then threw the tissue and and like it wasn't like obnoxious, like super like big, like cartoonish blowing his nose about it. Just blew his nose and like threw the tissue in the wastebasket, and then went and sat back down while all this was going on. And then like Tom Franz goes, "That was just unreasonable. Why would you think you could do that?" And it was just like, homie, you just said he could do whatever the fuck he wanted because capitalism rules.
Yeah, like this is completely defeating the purpose of your take here. Like,
Yeah.
shouldn't that be completely cool for Hunter to
Yeah.
blow his nose in class?
It was just fucking
That is so weird.
fucking insane school.
It is funny because like that will always.
How very quaint. Pitying creatures that are beyond help. Very well. I'm sick of looking after her at any rate. I am Egon, a knight of Karim. I am allied to you for as long as you assure the girl's safety, and only for that long.
Oh, he's a softie at heart, huh?
Yeah. So you were saying before
Oh
you
no! I mean, please. I know. I was saying like that was always the defense of capitalism in those classes, and like it's what I like. It's what I believed until I read like. I think like it only feels silly to say because academia taught me to feel silly about this, but before I read David Harvey's A Brief History of Neoliberalism, where I was like, hey, wait a minute, this capitalism stuff might not work so well. But like the thing everyone would always say was like, you know what? Capitalism just works. And the thing is, communism doesn't. And that's and it would always be that, and then whatever reason they decided to tell you. And like that's such a perfect example of that, where it's like, yep, because Hunter can start a gumball factory is just as cogent as any other one, but it's also so dumb and like so clearly like off the top of his head. What a special mind that awful teacher had.
It was fucking wild. So now moving on. This is Egon of Karim. He was watching after our homegirl in here that we liberated and brought back to our spot. Found out she's a failed firekeeper.
Right.
She was going to be a firekeeper, but she couldn't muster it. And Egon's just been like hanging out, watching after her. And like, he's kind of like sick of her shit. But like, I guess it's still his job, you know?
What's the matter? My terms are very simple. I am allied to you for as long as you assure the girl's safety. And only for that long.
So what is like I guess like the idea of the failed firekeeper, that's something that only really shows up in Dark Souls 3, right? Like we don't really get failed firekeepers. We get doomed firekeepers.
Yeah, I mean all all the firekeepers are usually fairly kind of tragic seeming figures. Well, I guess like it's weird because our firekeeper in our firekeeper in Dark Souls 2 is the Emerald Herald, who's got a whole weird Durkey's actually they got the foot up on that rock. Look at that.
Cool.
That's wild.
That's a pretty neat that's a pretty neat animation.
Yeah, that's a surprising like pose that we could get into, because like we feel like normally we wouldn't quite bend the leg that way, but although God, that's doing bad things to my theory of mind about my ankle right now, because Jesus.
It's I mean Derby is also, I mean she's also the Ashen at this point, so I feel like on some level we can be like, yeah, this is just how the Ashen's ankle works.
God knows what kind of ball jointed doll Derby is actually on the inside, because
right.
My God. But yeah, no, you're right about like about the that whole thing there.
Oh yeah, no, it's one of the things I really actually like so far about this game is that the failed firekeeper thing. I think that's a pretty neat addition. Like it's not something we've seen before exactly, and I'm glad they didn't just give us another tragic one.
No, like at this point that is that is like kind of like where my like interest lies is what her deal is, because you know, she's like, you know, she's a failed firekeeper, and then we have our firekeeper who is just like, you know, Paulina Poroskova in like dressed like the Galadriel,
Yeah.
and I'm just kind of
Yeah.
like, okay, we have this like
Yeah.
we have this willowy Slavic woman who's just like, you know, going to, you know, like just like hanging out in this place with her fancy outfit on, and it's like, all right, sure.
It is a mix. If there's something I don't like about this game, it's when they quote Dark Souls, like Dark Souls 1, that is, like extremely literally. It's what it ends up being what I find most frustrating about sequels in video games most of the time, which is when they're just like, oh yeah, you know, I remember when we had a popular game. Let's do that again. Like, and that does annoy me, but I do like when they kind of remix it, for lack of a less annoying word. Um, in terms of, like, you know, you have the Demon Souls lady, essentially. You essentially have her at plus the Firekeeper, which, like, I think is fun. Like, I think that's interesting, and that's enjoyable. Um, I'm not sure, like, I'm not sure how much of the balance I'm seeing here between those two, but I find it really cool that both are here.
Yeah. So there's a boss back there, Trevor.
I'm worried.
He's not a real boss. He's kind of a mini boss, but he's still boss like. I like that we we're talking about quoting Dark Souls here, but we're extremely quoting. You know, you go below the church, and what's below the church, but like this kind of weird, like this is like almost exactly like the room below Andre, where you
Yep.
have the Titanite demon, you know, but without the rubble. But then when you
What
go
a classic room.
you go back into here and you get these pillars, and you get this dude who's just kind of like kind of like lamping on the floor, and he's in that weird he's in the Titanite demon pose. Like that is
Oh my god, no, that's exactly it.
that's
Yeah.
the Titanite demon pose.
Well,
You know,
that's
he's
funny.
like kind of doing like the wide leg splits, but like with like the, you know, pinned on the one arm, holding him up in the middle, like, but he's like waiting there, and like, so like, you know, obviously we're like, oh, it's the Titanite demon, blah 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 blah. We'll just like run up on him, and like no big deal, handle like the Titanite demon. Only this is not the fucking Titanite demon. This guy.
Anyone who played Dark Souls 1 is going to remember that room.
And,
that
like-
room was like the first sort of weird optional challenge. It was an odd, difficult place, you know?
Yeah. Well, I was like, oh, I went all the way down here. I found this guy who helps me. What's down further?
Right.
And it's fucking Titanite demon.
It's pretty hard, yeah.
But so this is this guy over here, and if we remember Yorm, so like we can kind of identify that like this is a Yorm-like figure.
Yes.
Like we already fought, and it's like, oh, we already fought Yorm, so like who the fuck cares? YOLO, bitches. Boom.
That guy, oh wow.
Jesus.
Yikes.
Oh shit. I was like trying to be like, you know, performative about the YOLO
I know,
shit, but
I know.
damn.
I watched how that happened. That was exciting, how this guy totally surprised
Jesus.
us a little bit here. Wow. Boy.
Oh shit.
People are kidding
Shit.
when they say this game is like unbelievably fast.
Yeah, wow. Oh, son of a bitch. Okay, come on, Derby. Oh, son of a bitch, son of a bitch, son of a bitch.
Oh my word.
Oh, that felt good. God damn. That's what I've been missing. That
That
was the
rocked.
shit.
That was so cool.
Oh man, that's what's fucking up right there. So yeah, we got this. We got a sword from him.
The Ithril Straight Sword? Did I
The
read that
Ithril
right?
straight sword, yeah. Or Irithyll straight sword.
Irithyll.
We get that th that like that's the most fucking Tolkien looking. That's like that is the someone who's trying to do a friends at the table name and doesn't know why friends at the table names are the way they are, ass name, but like for Tolkien shit I've ever seen.
it,
Irithyll.
it absolutely has, like, if someone's saying it, they absolutely have that British sort of like trill on it. Irithyll or whatever.
God.
It is.
Irith- straight sword bestowed upon the outrider knights of the Boreal Valley. This whole thing is like, this is the most like, Tolkien shit right here. So the outrider knights of the Boreal Valley. I love the notion of the Boreal Valley just being the Boreal Valley too.
I mean, yeah, it's a valley of trees, of
Like,
course.
it's like the Boreal Valley. Also, the Boreal Valley is apparently fucking freezing.
I mean, they're evergreens. That's what.
It's like, yeah, we know that the Boreal Valley is just fucking Douglas firs. This weapon is enshrouded in frost and causes frostbite. Yeah, no shit. We got frostbite twice in that. I am impressed that we survived that, because like usually you get frostbite and like frostbite fucking ends you.
Well, yeah, I was very worried about Derby in that instance. I thought, like, Derby's chunky and Derby is very, like, in terms of health, and Derby is very good, but Derby could be hurt by frostbite.
Yeah, Derby is absolutely not resistant to frost. Frostbite really really fuck you up in Elden Ring. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
There's like that one guy. I really like the what to call him, Mad King Ludwig, because I'm playing Gabriel Knight 2 with M. I don't actually remember his name, but the guy who is in the King Arthur's Round Table, when you jump over the ledge and he's like at the corner and he's like, look at me, I'm a fucking mage who does frostbite with one hand and then whatever the fuck with the other, or bleed with the other, I think.
That guy is a very strange character. That sort of like invasion example. Yeah, I know who you mean.
I remember the first time he came at me and like I wasn't expecting him, and like I like ran to the room and I was like, why am I being invaded? What the fuck is this shit? And then like, what is this NPC invader bullshit? And like he just backstabbed me and just wrecked me. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, oh hell no, motherfuckers. I like locked in and like I like came back to life, and like I saw like where like his spawn point was, and I was like, oh okay, you're over there, all right, fine, I'm gonna just stand on top of you and just start swinging my Morning Star and just bleed you to death.
How'd it go?
Oh, he just dropped. I was like, yeah, motherfucker, what you thought?
I mean, it really is like, it's the ultimate sort of like, try me for a second and see how it goes kind of thing, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna just get killed by some random guy in a basement. That's not what's gonna happen to me. Like, this is gonna work so much differently. I'm gonna win. Just made me so stubborn to beat that guy. Like, I think I threw myself at him. I didn't have a good enough build. I didn't have as good a build as that. Like, I didn't have a Morning Star, but I threw myself at him a lot.
I didn't go to like the when I was first playing, I just like never went for like the longest time. Like I was like when I was fighting Margot or whatever the fuck, the first guy you fight, and she's like, oh, I could take you to the I've been holding out on you, but now I see you're committed, won't you want to come with me? And I was just like, no, I'm gonna fight this guy, fuck off. Like I
could beat him myself.
I was like, I just died once, shut the fuck up, damn, like let me go.
I like that you took it as like a sign of disrespect.
I thought it was like,
I'm fine.
I was like, what is this Ninja Gaiden, like abandon the way of the ninja shit? Fuck off! I'm not embracing the way the path of the dog. Eat my ass. And so like I told her, I'm like, no, I don't want to go to this thing, and she was just like, okay, fine. And then like I just kind of kept doing that because I was like, once I beat him, I was like, okay, I'm good.
See, I told you.
Like, I mean, you saw how we fucked up that guy.
That was so cool. What a great fight to be back.
That was a great fight to be back on. Yeah. One thing I wanted to point out, I wanted to read this again. So every Outrider Knight one day devolves into a beast, constantly hounded by Pontiff Sullivan's black eyes.
Very Bloodborne name right there.
Yeah, I like this interesting that like it devolves into a beast, which is like the most bloodborne. This is super bloodborne shit, except like, you know, they're weird frost knights, and we don't really have knights as much in Bloodborne, but
No.
we do have things that devolve into beasts and move like that because reuse your assets, guys. Don't Not everything needs to be a fucking unique asset. Like if your shit can work between games, make it work between games.
FromSoft knows.
FromSoft totally gets it. FromSoft was like, let's make 2 games at the same time and just kind of share as much as we can. We're on the road of sacrifices now.
Oh no.
This tree, I thought there was a skeleton in the tree, but there's not. It's just kind of textured that way.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But like, you see how it looks like there's bodies in the trees, and there's particularly
The
like
roots
that
all
one
look like
that
bones.
that knothole looks like it's like a rib cage almost.
Yeah, I can see that. It's a creepy tree.
That's a creepy ass tree. I like this autumnal foliage, which is like a thing that like I like the idea of like autumn in Dark Souls is very funny to me.
It's decay in the world of decay.
Like yeah, like it's funny because like we think of like, oh, the autumn leaves and they're pretty and they're orange and gold and blah 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 and like browns and pumpkin spice lattes and blah 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 and all this shit, and then it's just like in Dark Souls it's like, oh yeah, it is pretty. Wait, it's also a decay metaphor.
Oh, always.
This is the prelude to winter, like all these things that are like compounded. But we also do have like weird like kind of new growth, just kind of like these like weird, almost herbaceous like kind of weeds just shooting up.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Yeah,
and they're absolutely like real growth, which I think, we see growth in Dark Souls, right? Like we see all the trees and stuff, but we don't usually see like fairly normal growth, like plant life, like that.
No,
Right?
we don't
It's
see
always mad growth.
Yeah, like I mean, here we've got like this is almost like, if this was Morrowind, I would be harvesting heather over here. Like this is
You gotta have heather.
This is a fairly normal ass thing. Oh, there's this guy over here. Look at this motherfucker.
Ooh,
He's
he's
like,
sneaky.
he's being like all like some ninja shit. This
Got
is
a
some
weird, like assassin sword there.
I really love these dudes because like this, like his pose right now, it reminds me of like, it reminds me of PlayStation 2 games for starters.
Yeah,
like
I can see
it's got big like enemy in Shinobi for like the PlayStation 2 vibes. Which if you're listening to this and you have not played Shinobi for the PlayStation 2, go emulate that. It rules. It is like one of the best combo based like action games I have played in decades. Rules. I spent an entire like fall semester not doing schoolwork so I could play Shinobi just over and over again.
It's a really good game.
But like he's got like but like also like kind of like just really sick like late 80s early 90s OVA vibes.
It has a real
And like his weird face.
Look. Yeah,
like
I like it a lot.
Like his face has like kind of like a bad like the kind of demons that show up in. Do we not have?
We have they're down at the bottom.
Oh.
Binoculars.
Oh yeah, okay, that's right. I forgot they're in the inventory in this game. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Oh god, he's doing shit with his like where his tongue should be.
Oh, it's really good.
Oh, it's good. Oh my god. So he's kind of like
Toes
a weird.
Are really great.
Well, he's got like weird, like they're not like bird feet, but they're almost like bird feet. But he's kind of like got bird body, but not really bird body. He's almost like, he's like kind of zombie bird thing, but like he's doing this like like big Ninja Scroll vibes here. That fucking rules. I'm gonna go kill him.
Yeah, well, I mean that's how you.
Oh, and he's growing wings.
Oh, that rocks. He's a little guy, but he has more to him. Oh,
I like
cool.
that this is the game where things burst out of things in a transformative way. Oh, like look at that. Like, wait, did his face become more bird-like? as
almost
he
looks that way.
transitioned his wings, like almost kind of. Oh
Kinda,
wait,
yeah.
no, like that's just his chin. His chin just looks kind of like a bird beak when that is. I've never really been. Well, when I played Dark Souls 3, I played it on my PlayStation 4. From like 10 feet across the room. So like, I got the vibe of it, but I wasn't sitting right here. 2 feet from my giant monitor, looking at this guy, and like the work on this model is like really impressive.
It is. I mean, honestly, like complaints about going back to the well notwithstanding, I think the enemy design in this game is really cool.
But then it's interesting because like this torso is very bat-like. This is like it's like see how he's got
Hmm.
like there's like hair, like there's like that weird kind of like bat fur. This is like the way they do, God, in Bram Stoker's Dracula, the Francis Ford
Oh.
Coppola one. Like this is
Hmm.
like when Gary
Gary
Oldman
Oldman.
becomes like part like he'd be like he transforms into his bat form at the end, and like he's kind of got that like that like Zangief ass like chest hair thatch like because
Yeah.
like bats have that. Ah,
I also
dude,
like how long that enemy's neck is.
it's
It,
so yeah. This is
real Junji Ito vibes there. Just like
Miyazaki
very,
really embraces the long necks from here on out.
and he's right too. I mean,
He is because like it's that is uh good friend Kevin Snow
love Kevin.
uh they have done this phenomenal God, what is it called? The Shadows Under the Bed? Shadows Under Your Bed?
Yes, that's I think
Shadows
it's
Under Your
Shadows
Bed.
Under Thought. Is it your?
They
Oh,
made The Shadows Under Your Bed, which is like an anthology horror game, and one of them, one of the horror shorts in that is about it's like a kind of like a jokey one. The way like how like you get those like kind of comedy horror bits where but like the old scary stories to tell in the dark where they'd have one that would
Yeah.
just be kind of like just a little jokey.
Goofy. Yeah.
This one was about like it was like about like popping, like cracking your neck.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No,
And
that makes
it
sense. Yep.
culminates in like an extremely long neck. Priscilla
Well,
Snow.
it's like that Ito story where not to make it like everything's Junji Ito. It's but like he does have that story where it's the woman with the scarf, or it's not his story. I think it's a dramatization, but like or like a retelling about a more classic story. But the woman who has the scarf around her neck that is actually holding on her head, like that kind of like.
Did Junji Ito
body
do
horror.
an a version of that?
He did, yeah. There's a version of that.
I didn't know that. I don't think I've read that. I don't think I've read Junji Ito. I've read the in a dark wood, the classic Jenny version with the green ribbon around her neck.
Yeah, yeah.
That we all grew up on in the.
Good.
Dope.
Yes. No, it is. Yeah, it is a classic story. Like it's certainly not his, but like
I just didn't know
it's-
that Junji Ito did an adaptation of it. And that sounds just terrifying and gross. Oh, there's another one over here.
It's super terrifying and gross. Yeah, but it also is silly. Like on its face, it's a little bit silly because you're just like
Yeah.
you know when you're reading the story, you're like that girl's head's gonna fall off. I know what's happening here. I don't know why this guy does it.
It's so funny because I remember like the first time I encountered that story, and it's one thing if you know me and you've read enough of my posts, you will know that my favorite literary format is in a dark woods.
Mhm.
Because I just love the repetition. I love the like slow kind of unfolding and the progression and just like everything about it applies to me. Like in a dark woods, there's a dark house. There's a dark house. There's a dark staircase. In the dark staircase, there's a dark room. Dark room. There's a dark closet. In the dark closet, there's a dark box. In the dark box, there was a ghost. Or whatever. There's like 5 billion fucking variants of this, but that is my ideal literary format. If the town dungeon map is my ideal game format, the In the Dark Forest is my ideal literary format. Though
Makes sense.
you can
Yeah.
apply both. God, it's so sick the way their wings pop out. Like, I did not appreciate that enough when I first
Their
played
chirping
this.
is also really cool.
Yeah, and there's like a weird like the sound effect they use for the TARDIS. That like
Oh.
kind of like like the tubes
Yes.
with the string with the spring in them,
Mm-hmm.
where it makes it kind of like a like vibraty electric kind of sound.
Sure.
Like they use that for the part of their transformation. Like there's like a filter that's adding that layer to it, that kind of that the TARDIS does. Yeah. I like these guys because those ones have like scythes. Sick.
Ooh.
The
New
thing I like about them
versions
is
of them?
like because like so these are kind of these weird birdmen, right? And the last time we encountered kind of birdmen was in the ashes of
Eric.
is it Ariandel? Which one? I
Yeah,
can't remember which one it is anymore. I don't remember which one's the Dark Souls 1 and which one's the painting from Dark Souls, or the painting from Dark Souls 1 and which one is the DLC for Dark Souls 2. Ariandel is Dark Souls 3.
Okay, yeah, I was
And
gonna
it's
say
the
I think that's
ashes
Dark
of,
Souls
or
3.
it's whatever. But there we had the bird people, who were very much, fuck. I can't remember what Griffith's name is when he, when the eclipse happens.
Griffith from
Berserk.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
God, and he he becomes a member of the God Femto.
Okay.
When Griffith becomes Femto and he becomes like kind of like a gotchaman. He's like he gets his sick little like Griffith, but like what if Griffith but a bird?
Yeah.
Vibe on, and like they're very much kind of like in that vein, only like slightly more organic, but there is like an intense like vaguely twinkish androgynous kind of masculine sexuality to them. That like Miyazaki is like clearly pulling from Berserk among other things. But like these guys are just so like kind of rotten and like raw and very like what if that, but like so much more corrupt and like Gollum-y.
It reminds me of like when a book will call a character or like usually a man or a masculine character who they're trying to say is like attractive in sort of a strange way, when they'll call them sinewy.
Yeah.
Like this is like what they mean when they say like they were muscular and sinewy. 3 wings too is really good. Oh, 4. Yeah,
Look at
okay.
him go. Now he's pissed. Oh, and he changes his like the way he moves. Oh shit. Oh shit, homie.
You.
Oh shit, I'm out of Estus. I didn't realize.
Yeah, because we killed that other guy.
Whoops. It's just fucking like weird like.
Gurgling.
Oh,
at
there's
you.
someone over there throwing out that purple shit. Okay. I want to see something first of all. 7,000 souls. God damn. Do I have any? I don't have any soul. I don't really have any souls to mine. I got the soul of an unknown traveler. That's not that interesting.
I guess, yeah.
I can't decide if YOLO or like roll back.
I would say roll back.
Yeah,
I don't think you
it's
can
roll
kill
back.
that
I didn't.
guy with-
I meant to rest properly at the bonfire and I didn't. Is what happened there.
No, usually I would say YOLO, but like those guys are pretty tricky.
They got some a bag of tools to use. They're realizing that
Got
they're out there
bars.
throwing like they got poison and like they kind of move like they're ninjas and shit. Like shout out to them like being that way though.
I love it. I
Ninja
love
bird,
looking at
ninja
them.
birdman, ninja bird zombie man is kind of where it's at. Oh, look at that! Boom!
Ah,
God
gotcha.
damn, I love this fucking axe.
It's so good.
I
Is
love
this
that it's supposed to be a sword, but it's a fucking sword, but it's classified as an axe.
Now you said this is a fairly classic starting weapon. Is that true?
Like it's not. It's like it's like when you grab it and you just kind of like. I like that it was just staggering him rather than like actually do. Oh shit!
Wow. Yo.
Whoa, homie. I knew he could do that, but like I hadn't. I'd never really gotten hit by it before. But damn.
Yo. That was intense.
I was like when the weird kid flips out on you in school.
It is like when the weird kid flips out at you at school.
That's like one of my favorite things in like when Sarah, my partner, and I watch sumo. Like every now and then you'll get like one wrestler who just decides to just flip out, and like they're not like usually they're not doing so good. Like in like the basho, like they're kind of they're on their way to like they're not getting their kashikochi, but then they go up against like like an ozeki or even like the yokozuna, and they just decide to just go fucking ape shit, like they just blow through the tachi in an instant and just like then like start just like going like slap. Yeah, that's the fucking TARDIS sound. Oh Jesus.
That's so cool.
Holy oh, now he's doing fire and shit. Dude, I never realized these guys made sounds like this. Oh, look at him. He's cool looking.
Whoa.
He's gonna go off this cliff though.
Sorcerer one.
Oh shit!
Oh
shit.
no!
Holy shit! Holy shit! Oh my god, dude!
Just flip it out.
Just
He is
fucking.
the sumo that's flipping out at you.
Wow, that was so
right there.
good.
That
This
rules.
episode rules.
It's so fun, yeah.
Yeah,
This
is how you come back.
That's right. That's exactly correct.
I
Yeah,
think
I totally I hear what you're saying. Like with the kind of like just being able to somehow like pull something out that's has like a very threatening and strange aura, essentially. Like when you are the weird kid or in the case of the sumo, the sumo who's not doing so hot.
Yeah. Where's friend? Friend, no friend. No friend ahead.
I really appreciate that I really appreciate the sound design on this a lot. Like some games I'll get a little like I don't know. I can get bored of sound design. I could be like I'd just rather be listening to like my stories or whatever. But like when it's done really well like that, it's just like man, how can you not love this? Like how can you not get like hype over this?
Good.
Love it.
This is the way we do it. There's clearly not a shortcut there.
Yeah, that seems like a lie.
Yeah,
Liar ahead.
I don't have time for that. Oh, he's over there. Look at him over there.
Oh, he's gonna jump down.
Yeah, like I think
That is
so.
absolutely his plan right
You know,
now.
I kind of love this because there's really no like where else are you gonna go? Like this is the only way. And so they're showing it to you. This is Miyazaki's just teasing it. He's just like putting his dick on your forehead. Like, what are you gonna do? He's like, I put my dick on your forehead. What are you gonna do? You're gonna suck it. Like, just deal with it.
It's that sample in that the Liquid Swords album by Jizza where it's from the old samurai movie and it's just some guy saying, "Oh mad one, we see your trap." Like it's just like, yep, I see it. I see what's going on here.
really appreciate that you felt the need to do the Liquid Sword album by Jizza. Like,
Just in case, I listen. I know my own audience is it's not always so up on things, but your audience is maybe cooler.
you know what? I actually don't know if look right now, if you are in my audience and you are not, what? If you're in my audience and you have not listened to Liquid Swords album, go do that.
You should probably do that. It's a really good album. Oh, a human, not an invader.
Boom. Yeah,
Maybe don't do your special move right there.
it's a good old man eater. It gives us the butcher knife.
Oh, that's tight. That's really cool.
So there's the butcher knife. It gets an A scaling in strength. I think is it just a great sword? I don't remember what kind of. I think it's considered a great sword. Might actually just be a straight sword. I don't know. Or it's an axe. Okay, it's an axe. This is a great axe. This is an axe. Let's put this on just so you can all see. See this chopper.
Chunky. Wow.
It's small. It's chunky. It's real fast.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
It's a good time. It's got the weapon art where you can sharpen it. Oh, it's got the, I forgot it's got the Captain Caveman shit. Boom.
We love that. Of course.
we love. Oh yeah, that's the cool thing too that it does is.
That is fun. Although it's never really something you end up using in battle.
No, because it's too close. Like, when are you going to get
Yeah.
that close to someone? Like, you don't want to get that close to someone.
You might be able to use it in PvP. Like I could see a version of PvP where that would work as like a desperation move, but with the way that like all this is, I don't know, like I think the way that this is modified in game, like that would never work.
So how do we get the brigand set?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, the brigand set. Come down here. There's some horses. Like, I think we kind of like, this side of like, we're on this like cliff side over here, and the brigand twin daggers. But we kind of get this like, this cave thing. I love this weird wall.
Yeah, it looks like a mound built by people. Like oh wow, that's quite a few. It's like, screw you, you've had enough good fortune.
Look at that. It's clearly not.
Yeah, that wall looks like a something that was like built by someone intentionally, right? Like a landslide that was actually not a landslide, but put into place piece by piece by
It really,
someone
it really does. We'll do Beware of Liar. Why not? Good old Beware of Liar never hurt anyone.
Yeah, it's actually, we should be seeing more of it, I think.
Yeah, Beware of Liar. And we even give it a gesture, so it's like, here, it's clearly that asshole.
That's perfect. He's the liar.
Yeah. I love like it says like you ever like kind of like gone like hiking on like in like a in like a real mountainous region. You get this like side of like the cliff where you just like kind of you slide down one of these things and you end up in these like gross like where like half of the cliff side has fallen away and it is like just dirt and roots and it smells bad and it feels bad and you're like, why did I come down here? I should be back on the trail where like things are normal.
And then you get back on the trail like this.
Yeah, and you get back on the trail, and you're like, oh, look at this. There's this, there's an archway that's been built here out of stone. How interesting. Considering, like, I like that you get this archway that's, like, very, constructed. And then...
Beautiful.
But then, like, there's all of this, like, pathway that's just kind of carved out of the rock. Like...
They only had the resources to build one archway.
Mm-hmm.
They needed to do that. And unfortunately, everything else got put on the back burner. I hope you didn't have to get anywhere else besides where that one archway was.
So we killed that guy that was up here being like a little menacing jerk off. I do love him. Like I love this like the like being taunted by him. Hey, Titanite shard. And then we come back up here and we can see where we're from. This is where we went.
That's fun.
Yeah. I like that the texture for like that drop, like that ditch is very kind of ambiguous, like as to what even going on there. Like it's like there's like lots of trees.
But looks like way shallower than.
Yeah, like it doesn't look like it should be a problem. It's like, it's very just kind of interesting. It's not at all like in Dark Souls 1 where it's like, oh, like clearly you are up really high and down below you is a valley that like, you can see the individual tree trunks. It's much more the like forest version of the bottom of Andor Londo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. I totally see that.
Like even
Or the, I
over.
mean, even the, you know what? No, you're right, because it looks different than the forests outside of Sen's Fortress, right? Where like you're looking down at them there, because there's a clear sense of depth there and scale. This is very like forced perspective. It's odd.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a bunch of guys over here that we got to get through. I don't know if I can. Do I have any more cool things that I can throw at them? No. Seek brow. I could put pine resin on my shit. Okay, we're going with that. Some more fire bombs. What the hell? We'll put fire on our shit.
Absolutely.
Fire on the shit. Look at that. Oh, yeah. What
That
up?
looks great. Okay, let's see if it helps. Fire always helps.
I mean, like, yeah, like it helps. Like, come on over here, homie. Yeah, I see you
Whoa,
casting that
purple
purple
stuff.
shit. Boom. What?
Wow.
All right, now it's one more over there.
2.
Oh shit.
At least 2.
Come on over here. Over here. Oh, there's a whole. Oh, shit.
Oh, wow.
Oh shit.
Oh!
Oh shit. Put more fire on instead of.
Well, you know
It's
what?
fine.
No,
You know what? We'll put the fire on. Who cares? Let's go.
It's in celebration.
Oh, we
of
got a
not going-
Corvian scythe.
Oh, that's fun.
That's
So they're
fun.
supposed to be like crow-like? Is that what I'm supposed to take from Corvian?
I mean, yeah. Down you go, motherfucker. Oh, we got storyteller staff. This is so good. I
Yeah.
love when we get the good item weapon drops, because that gives us more lore.
That's correct.
And in this game, we cannot pause it and open up the real-time lore system, or whatever the fuck it's called. Final Fantasy 16 lets you pause it, and like you can, like, when you pause the game, you can tap the touchpad on the DualSense, and it opens up the like the auto lore system or whatever. It's the stupidest thing. Where you kind of get like a constellation of lore like nodes that you can then click on and read about all of the factions and bullshit that are pertinent to your current situation, basically.
Interesting.
It's the most fucking Michael Christopher Koji Fox like asked for this bullshit I've ever seen in my life. It is an absolutely anathema to how I believe stories work, and I think everyone involved with it should go directly to The Hague.
If you're wondering why I'm not being the balance here and stumping, not for Koji Christopher Fox, but for the Yoshida project, I haven't played 16 yet. So
yeah, Trevor's not played it. Trevor doesn't yet know that like there are important side quests that have a plus sign next to their icon, exactly the way Final Fantasy 14 does it.
Well, that simply just explains what they are to me.
Yeah, no, it's fucking terrible that like the these are the important side quests and this is the bullshit side quests. Like, I fucking hate that model. That looks like a hand holding like a weird thing.
Well, I mean, it makes sense in 14 because the pluses end up being like, okay, not just like not a. I mean, obviously they start to indicate this is a bullshit side quest, and that's bad. That's bad bleed. But like,
Yeah,
I think
like
initially it's like okay, this
unlocks a
class
dungeon.
Yeah,
or this is a class thing.
So,
Yeah, like
yeah. But no, for sure. I mean, it essentially becomes that. But when before it sort of bleeds into being that, it's not so bad. But yeah, I think I will agree with you off the top of my head in that 15 having it in an actual RPG, like a standard RPG, is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Look at these guys.
Look
Who
at
are
these
they?
homies. Look at. Well, here we go. We get the Elite Knight set over here, so we
Mhm.
know this person is important.
Oh yeah, oh,
Like
absolutely.
when they're wearing the armor that's on the Dark Souls thing on the cover for they know they're important. And then over
That's my
here we got
self-insert.
this Tarkus looking motherfucker.
He's scary.
He's great. Look at him. Let's they're not attacking us, so let's say hi.
Oh, hello. How do you do? I'm Anri of Astora, unkindled like you. This is Horace, a friend and travelling companion. Are you too in search of the Lords of Cinder? We're well along the road of sacrifices. Below us is the Crucifixion Woods. Beyond the flooded woods lies Farron Keep, home of the Undead Legion. Further yet is the Cathedral of the Deep. We seek the cathedral, home of the grim Aldrich. We may go our separate ways now, but we are both seekers of lords. The next time we cross paths, one may find the other in a time of need. May the flames guide your way.
So it's
seems
Anri of
nice.
Astora. Anri of Astora is on his own quest. We will find out in short order that it's actually kind of a really tragic, like as with most people in
What?
Dark Souls, it is a very
Dark
tragic
Souls?
quest that he is on. I like the sound effect that makes him sound kind of like the worm from Labyrinth.
He has the reverb up to 9.
Yeah,
Definitely,
it's like the really close, like the really structured reverb. That's like this is the sound of someone's voice who's talking to you from inside of a helmet, which I don't think is true, but it gives.
I'm almost sure that's not what it
That
sounds
is
like.
not
but
what
it sounds
someone
cool
sounds
there.
like, but it's really it's a fun effect.
Oh, yes, Horace. He's not very talkative, but don't think ill of him. He is an upstanding, kind-hearted knight, a fine partner for this grueling journey. Without his help, I would have cursed this onerous duty long ago. We are well along the road of sacrifices. Beyond the flooded woods lies Farron Keep. We may go our separate ways now. The next time we cross paths, may the flames guide your way.
Okay, so Henri doesn't he's just kind of like one of those guys you just meet, and you can tell like he's a solid, chill guy who is on a completely doomed mission. And then he's got his homie Horace over here.
Who doesn't like to talk? Oh my.
Who gives us
Oh,
a
well, that makes
covenant
sense.
for the
Blue
Blue
Sentinels.
Sentinels.
Sure, that adds up. The Chewbacca guy.
All right, let's take a look at. So he's kind of very guarded, we'll say.
Let's say, yeah, just having eye holes. That means you. That's the only place you have open on your
Yeah.
entire body. I think that means something. I think
Yeah.
you're displaying something there.
Yeah. Does he not have any mouthpiece? No, it's just like a.
Yeah, it looks like it. They just smelted a thing that goes over the head and it just like pops
Yeah.
some eye holes in there. Tonk tonk.
It's kind of interesting because like the eye holes don't even really look much like actual eye holes.
Yeah, they don't look useful. It looks very ornamental, like you'd find in like a museum, and they'd say like, "Oh yeah, this was an ornamental helm, used in ceremonies by Anglo-Saxons."
Well, it looks like he's got like
not what they wore.
it's almost like he's got like kind of like smoked glass in the holes. Like it's interesting what's going on there. I can't tell what is just a function of like texturing and what's if there's supposed to be something going on with that. But
Yeah, that's odd.
it's really odd. So yeah, it's interesting that they're not facing one another. Like Henri is here. Pussy open to the world. Like Henri is 100% pussy open to the world over here, and then like Horace is just like ready to just like wreck this shit, and he follows everyone around. Henri doesn't really follow you around that much. You'll notice, like he kind of follows you around a little bit, but like Horace is like really
Oh, he's keeping an eye on you.
committed to watching you move around.
He's the guard dog. He knows his.
He is.
He knows his companion is supposed to be out to the world. And he worries.
Yeah. Okay, so let's we get this bonfire now. We will do crucifixion woods next week.
That's fair.
Because that's a whole journey. But we gotta go back to Firelink Shrine. We gotta spend some souls. We gotta read some items we picked up about the guys we were killing.
This is gonna be so good.
Oh, what the what?
Hey, I know. There's someone new here.
Someone new here. What's going on? We're gonna RP walk over to her. This is some fantasy shit right here. Look at this outfit.
So cool.
This is when you're like, this is what every character who, when you play like OD&D and like they choose the elf character and they're like, oh, I'm gonna be a lady elf, and they're like, this is who they make. They make fucking,
Galadriel.
Deedlit by way of Galadriel by way of Griffith. Pre-eclipse Griffith.
You're an unkindled, aren't you? I am Cirrus of the Sunless Realms, former servant of the divinity. Duties we each bear, but one's duty is a solitary affair. I doubt we've much to gain from fraternization. Blessing of the moon upon your journey.
Huh.
I doubt we've much to blessing of the moon.
So we get the blessing of the moon, and that she is from the Sunless Realms.
Maybe she doesn't like us because of our covenant with the sun.
Cirrus of the Sunless Realms, maybe. But also she serves the divinity, the capital D divinity, which is like, that's not a concept we've ever really seen.
Yeah, that's the first we've heard of this in Dark Souls.
Yeah. Dark Souls really never gives you the concept of like, a monotheistic, like Judeo-Christian God, like, or even like kind of just like a monist God of any kind. Like there's no the divinity, but
Right.
Here we get capital D, the divinity. So that's interesting. And then she just, we've not to gain from fraternization. But she recognizes, like, she's like game recognized game, but also nah.
Blessing of the moon.
Skill
that's all.
issue. Maybe if you had the moon at your back, it wouldn't be a skill issue, but skill issue. So that's interesting, and that's all she really has to say to us. She's kind of showed up here.
I'm sure that's the last we'll hear of her.
I'm sure we'll never see her ever again. Munch this guy. We're gonna need some souls for shit. First, I wanna. Oh, that's right. We were working on, because last time we got this Y-hander, and we need what? We need 1 point in dexterity to use that. So that's what we're doing. Oh, god damn it! Got distracted. Got so hyped about the Y-hander. Though I got to tell you, I am loving this axe.
I know it's tough.
It is
Well,
tough.
It's a hard thing to switch
Speak
to,
thine
but
heart. Very well. Then touch
we
taken
love
up.
a Y-hander.
But I feel like, ditching to 1 point in this Y, and to have the option of this Y-hander,
Totally agree.
totally like
100%. Yeah.
like we might use it for a little bit and then just be like, nah. But for now we can one-hand this Y-hander if we want to, which is just like boom, boom, boom. We get that range and everything. Like, or we could two-hand it. Still get. We get that poke. It's big. It just looks threatening.
It's great. I mean, it's really cool.
So currently, it's an Elder Greatsword. We got an AR of. I can just see my combined AR somewhere. Can I? 201.
Well,
I mean, so
that's
what's-
impressive.
What's this guy? Or no, not that guy. This guy. 244. So it's slightly behind it, but this is also +2. So there's that. But I think for now we should.
Man, it's really cool.
Yeah, like I think like Derby's. This is like this is your hand would remember your strength if you were to grasp your sword. This
Well met. Tis good to see, wasn't he?
this is Derby's
I mean, it feels right. You're
Rohan
right.
moment.
Yeah.
Let's see. Can we do we have enough Titanite? We do. We have enough Titanite. So
Yeah.
it's fun because we need 6 to go to +3 with the machete. So I feel like at this point I'm comfortable dropping 2 on this
Absolutely.
right-hander to just get.
No, I agree. I think like I really love the axe, but also like 6 is a lot.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna be farming that for a while.
Yeah. We'll get there. Eventually, we'll be able to start just buying Titanite shards.
Yeah.
This is how Dark Souls works. So 174. It's still lagging behind in the combined AR, but I don't care.
Hey, it's all about feel. It's about vibe.
Buddy,
We know
be
this.
careful.
We know this so much.
Yeah, like it's just boom. Look at that shit. That's so good. We've got 703 souls left.
Ash and
Let's
wine.
see. If you don't sell any, you don't sell that shit. Okay. Let's go check in. It's good to check in with people as you clear zones. Dark Souls 3 is less finicky about quest chains than some of the other From Software games, but it's still like it really wants you to check in with everyone.
Hello, you're back and in one piece.
I mean, I like checking in with people in these. Like, I always find like towns frustrating in RPGs. Not in the way that you talk about them, or like I don't always find them frustrating, but like I find the idea of having to talk to everyone annoying sometimes. But in Dark Souls, it always feels like, oh, I get to check in with people.
Right.
They're so
And sometimes nothing's going on with them. Sometimes it's like they're like something world shattering has happened.
I would do anything for
Right.
my master.
This guy would do anything for his master.
As I
That's
have,
us.
alas, a bit of a
Okay.
that the
We still can't
Be
get.
safe,
We haven't died enough.
champ.
We haven't died once this playthrough.
Oh, we haven't died at all.
No, we came very close at least 3
We
or 4
did,
times.
yeah, but damn, I got a fucking skill issue. God damn it!
I know.
I need to, I need to die, Trevor.
Well, you can just jump off a cliff if you want.
Sybil, what do you want? I want to die.
Aha, so
We don't have anything new to transpose, so Bloodland. Okay. I'm gonna go do something. This is how we're gonna close out the episode.
Okay. Wait, we didn't read our items.
We'll read out the items in a minute.
Okay, I didn't want to close the
Yeah,
episode without
we're
doing
not. We're not.
1 death. Had to have it.
Had
Had to
to-
have it.
yeah.
Had to have it. It's important. It is what it is. It's fine.
God, it sucks. It's so far from any good deaths. Got our 3 souls back. Come on, let's go. Let's go. I think they're running out of stamina, running into the wall. This is really taking a long time to load in the outside world.
It's odd, isn't it?
It's
I would have thought
really-
that had to do with your computer, but
Yeah, no, it's apparently not. Let's do that. I just the thing is, if you go too far in the game without advancing Yul's storyline, it actually does you can't you won't be able to get the things from him. I think is the deal there. Hold on, I'm gonna.
Oh,
There's
weird.
something you need to fucking do this. If I remember correctly, I could
Can
be
you
wrong.
now?
It might be
Can you
patched
go
out. It
to
might be
him
something
now? Do you
completely
have it now?
different. It might have never been a problem, but either way, here we go.
How many deaths do you need?
Several.
Okay,
You just tell me when we're getting a good number.
we're at 3 now.
We're at 3. Yeah, that's not enough. That's 4.
Okay. You're right. It is 4.
That's 4 deaths. We'll do 5 and then we'll read an item. There we go. There's 5. Now let's read an item. That's our reward for doing our 5 death. It's like doing push-ups. If you do
You get
5
rewards for
push-ups,
doing
you get
push-ups?
yeah. If you do 5 push-ups, you get to eat a cookie.
Oh, that's a great reward.
Yeah. That's why I'm so ripped. So first of all, we got the brigand axe. So this is kind of like some thing. Axe favored by brigands of a distant land. Surprisingly sturdy battle axe. It requires more strength to wield than a standard axe. Not a bad thing. I like, I like the axe. Dark Souls good about axes.
Yeah,
I'm
honestly.
I'm less wild about their spears. So the partisan can be a great time. Spears and scythes don't really do it for me in Dark Souls games, but Dark Souls axes are fucking on point.
I like that axe a lot because it just looks like a chopping axe.
It is like, and it is just here's just a Viking ass chopping axe. Like, let's go. It's a good time. The butcher knife, butcher's knife with an oddly large blade, wielded by the mad woman haunting the road of sacrifices. Squarely landed hits restore HP. Back in the Ended Settlement, the woman acquired a taste for human flesh, of which she took glee in partaking.
Yikes.
So this is our throwback to Maneater Mildred.
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually remember. If you want to look it up, you could look it up. If the butcher knife in this one is a Maneater
Mildred clone.
Yeah, I don't remember if it's just straight up Maneater Mildred again.
Maneater Mildred knife. I mean, the Maneater Mildred has the cowl over her head, so
yeah.
I don't think it's. But the axe looks the same.
If you just look up the butcher knife in Dark Souls 3, you'll probably get who drops that, and that'll tell us. But
a lot of people have made Maneater Mildred.
Well, yeah,
cosplay, which rocks.
We respect so cool. Maneater Mildred.
Yeah, of course.
So this is the Great Corvian Scythe. Great scythe of the forlorn souls, guided by heretical storytellers. The mistress of the painted world is said to wield a great scythe herself. Great scythes inflict profuse bleeding, such that the blood spatters on the wielder. So this is, these I guess are either I don't know if they're escapees of the painted world or they are connected to the painted world in some way.
Sent out by someone who is who is the master of the painted world right now?
Well, it's the mistress of the painted world, the mistress, not master.
Oh, excuse me,
mistress.
Sorry. Well, I was doing it in the same way we do actor now.
So
we don't gender.
The mistress of the painted world is said to wield a great scythe herself. Well, who do we know that wields a scythe in the painted world? Priscilla the half-breed.
Oh, you're right.
Who has the
I totally blanked on that.
Which is really interesting because Priscilla the half-breed has the life hunt. Life hunt? I think it's the life hunt.
Sounds right.
The life hunt scythe. Which I think if I remember correctly, when you get it, it's actually a spell. So it's not and it is kind of like a bleed drain effect. But so these the forlorn souls guided by heretical storytellers, these Corvians, they have fashioned themselves scythe that spatter blood on themselves. It's interesting that it doesn't I don't think it causes a drain effect, but
well, what's the thing that has 38 there? The additional effects, is that bleed?
Yeah, it's bleed.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it does cause bleed buildup. But I don't think bleed I don't think there's anything in Dark Souls that when you do bleed damage it causes you to heal, which would be really sick as hell. That's
it'd be way gross. It really
dude,
cool.
let's go vampire builds, buddy.
By the way, the NPC who drops the butcher knife is just named Mad Woman. And clearly they point out that she is clearly an homage to
Yeah.
Mildred Man Eater Mildred.
That's interesting. Mad Woman. So, this is the storyteller's staff.
Ooh.
Staff of a heretic storyteller who shares tales of the painted world to forlorn souls. The storytellers, too, are wretched beings with no place to go. Their bodies, souls, and even their staves are all tainted through and through. This expels noxious spores from the formless parasitical things that inhabit the staff. Dude.
Ew.
Gross.
Gross.
But that's interesting. So these guys, like, why are they heretics? You know, like, we know that the painted world is a place where you go to put things to, like, forget about them. You know, it is.
Right.
The painted world is, you know, fundamentally like a prison for Priscilla. Because Priscilla has the ability to kill gods with her life hunt scythe. That was
Yeah, you gotta forget her then.
like you gotta put her somewhere away. But like, there's also like, you know, there's a lot of people that kind of get dumped into the painted world. And the DLC for this game lets us know that there's actually multiple painted worlds, which is interesting. But so how did these guys, like, are they heretics of the painted world? Are they heretics of this world because they worship Priscilla?
Do you think they're heretics from the divine that we learned about? Like, is a heretic from sort of like a central god?
That's another thing. Like, how does that play into any of this? Because we've never encountered that. So that's a whole wrinkle that, like, you know, and you know, I'm gonna be real. I don't think I realized, like, she says that when I first played through this, because I do not remember having that kind of as a question to ask myself the first time I played it. So now I'm like extra interested. Like, you know, I never got this shit to drop in my first play in my playthrough of Dark Souls 3. So now I'm like, okay, wait a minute. We've got these dudes who are connected to the painted world. We've got Cirrus of the Sunless Realms talking about the divinity. I'm actually really kind of bought into Dark Souls 3 at this moment.
It's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying the lore and the way it's presented and stuff. It's really neat.
Like, these are things that actually kind of have me, like, really interested, because I mean, one, the painted world is one of the most interesting aspects of Dark Souls, because it is a prison. But it's also, it's a ruin. Like, Priscilla, you know, goes there. She does not make it better.
No.
She is not, you know, she's rallying.
Sympathetic, but yeah.
You know, she's not, you know, and like Priscilla, at least, Priscilla is still, you know, functionally a child. You know, she is you know, I guess kind of given the form of an adolescent, but, you know, compared to, you know, Gwendolyn, or even like the manifestation of Guinevere, or any of the other characters in Dark Souls 1, she is much more aligned with being a child still, despite the fact that she's, you know, an endless deity who is, I guess, part dragon, I think was the deal there.
I think you're right. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, which, like, you know, Gwen famously opposed to the dragons. Yeah, not big on the dragons, which is I do like the inverse of that in Elden Ring. I will say, spoilers for Elden Ring, but I do like we were bros with the dragons in Elden Ring.
Absolutely.
That is
a baby.
I'm glad. I really was glad about that switch, because I was like, this is interesting now. You figured out just inverting that relationship becomes interesting all of a sudden. But like,
it's always less is more with these games. Like, when there's one interesting thing added without too much work done, it's always better.
Yeah. But so now, like, you know, we've got these Corvians who are real fucked up compared to the, like, you know, more like, well, you know, like the more femtoy Corvians from the painted world that we're familiar with.
Right.
So, yeah, I got lots of questions, lots of fun things to think about, and that's when Dark Souls is really like at its best. Because I don't think we see these guys again. I don't think we're going to get more Painted World. I think this is it.
Really?
I
Didn't you say the DLC has Painted World stuff?
Well, there's another Painted World in the DLC.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
because there's Ariendel, the Painted World of Ariendel.
Okay.
But it's not. I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the Painted World from Dark Souls 1. Terrible Souls fan. This is why.
I just thought it was the Painted World.
This is why Vadi gets preview code and I don't.
You deserve preview code,
do.
not Body.
I do.
Well, maybe you both do.
Yeah, I'm fine sharing it with Vadi. But yeah, so this is a fun and interesting time here. But it's weird that they're very corrupted and decayed and fucked up looking, and they're forlorn souls. You know, I think everyone in. Oh, good. One of our messages was rated. Shout out to people still playing Dark Souls 3. But I'm very interested in their heretic nature, why they are forlorn. Are the storytellers forlorn themselves? Is forlorn kind of a class designation, a kind of a species designation, or is it just an adjective? Are they just forlorn souls?
Are they sad? Right.
Yeah, or
it's yeah. There's so many little like terms and adjectives here where like you're never. It's almost like a not Samuel Beckett, Samuel Johnson story where you're never quite sure which proper nouns are actually proper nouns or not.
Mm-hmm.
Which in Johnson you're just like, well, it's an artifact, but in this it's actually sort of like, this is very interesting. I wonder which is which.
Well, it's so funny because like Jackson and I were just talking about this on the Abnormal Mapping Monkey Island 2 episode. At the beginning we talk about Diablo, and we talk about Diablo's, like, one of Diablo's problems is like its commitment to its lore in like a really obnoxious way, where like the high heavens are just the capital HH high heavens. You know, and like it doesn't have any mystery to it or like any kind of ambiguity, and everyone knows the high heavens are the high heavens. You know,
right? That's where heaven is.
Yeah, and it's not just heaven; it's the high heavens. There is no heaven. There's no heaven. There's no heavenly host. There's no there's no the afterlife. It is just the high heavens. It is a place on a map. So it doesn't have a sense of mythicness or mystery to its lore at all. It doesn't really matter when everyone knows what it is. It's just like, part of your town.
Yeah.
Who cares? Yeah. But we've had like a 3-minute conversation about the use of forlorn here, and what is that like? What is that? what is the use? What is the part of the way this part of speech is being used in the sentence?
Right. Does it? Yeah. And that's like I think like even in terms of you think about any sort of biblical term, if it's used within a biblical sense, like Diablo is very, very Christian oriented in terms of its lore, like high heavens, like as you pointed out, is that. But even thinking about something like sanctified or blessed, or there's a million adjectives that you're just like, okay, I know exactly where those slot in.
Yeah.
Like that's a known adjective within this. Like you don't even have to capitalize it. You're like, okay, I understand there's an added sort of signification that takes on a different tone because you know the context. But like one of the cool things about Dark Souls, I think you're absolutely right, is like we don't ever quite fully know the context.
No.
Like there's never this isn't an Elder Scrolls game where there's like a book lying on the table that if we want to read it we can learn all the context if we want.
Right. Like, we could go and find like, the Book of the Forlorn Souls, and like it would give us, 5 solid pages of prose all of explaining everything we could possibly need to know about them.
Right. Yeah.
And everything that exists about it, because like, if it exists in an Elder Scrolls game, it ends up in a book, because why would you waste that text that you wrote in like a Word document at 4:00 in the morning when you could easily just slap it in a book?
Right. Exactly.
And chuck it into the world. Like, yeah, I do love,
read it or don't.
I really do love like the maximalist approach to lore that Elder Scrolls goes for, because I think that is the balance You know, it is the dungeon master who is just really in love with everything in his campaign, and he's gonna put it out there. But because it's an Elder Scrolls game, it works because you only see it if you pick that book up. Whereas, you know, it's not the dungeon master who is like sitting there trying to like aggressively like railroad you into picking up the book. It's like the book's there. If you want to read it, you can.
Right. No. Exactly. Yeah. And it is like a No, I think that I don't actually have anything to add. I think that's exactly right. Yeah. No. I really think that's interesting. Like it is. You know, I always think about the lore in Dark Souls as like telling you sort of less than you need or whatever. But I think it's more that it just leaves out context. Like I think that's exactly right, and like that you know, in being minimalist, it's just not simply providing you with the opportunity to learn more, which is not honestly so much different than the maximalist one, since you know 99% of players, myself included, isn't reading every book that they find in Elder Scrolls games. Um, you just like having the opportunity just makes that feel different.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, it's the Painted World of Ariamis.
Ariamis. There we go. Yeah. So one of the questions I still have is that the name of the painted the world itself? Is that the painter? Because I think it's,
Great question.
you know, I don't actually remember if we get an answer for that or not. When we do Ashes of Ariendel, maybe we'll find out.
I can't wait to find out.
Yeah, no, I'm like actually like, very excited about going to a painted world now because of that. So here's the brigand armor, the other thing we picked up.
Oh, yeah.
Leather armor from a foreign land. Probably belonged to a brigand who met his match.
Brutal.
And I like this in foreign lands. The in foreign lands has this like really great like, you know, kind of minor Greek historian like ancient Greek,
Anthropological
like,
approach, yeah.
but it's just like in foreign lands, and it's like which ones? You know, the ones that I've been to that you have never heard of.
Tell us more, Tech.
Like you're like this is like in foreign lands is where Herodotus like locates like the what is it, the 10-foot spider or whatever.
Yeah, the guys in like in England and Ireland who have their faces on their stomachs or whatever. Yeah.
Like I really
Sure, why not? Yeah,
really
absolutely.
love that shit. It's so good. In foreign lands, undead were banished to send a message to populace. I love that we're missing an article there.
It's sending a message to the video game populace.
To populace. God, that's such a good game. And when the message was not heard, they banished the living too. That is sick.
Wow.
Like let's like this is like take a moment for that like that last clause, because that is sick as hell. Like just throwing that little stinger in there of, so like yeah, they kicked out all the undead, and when people didn't like, you know, get with the program, they just started banishing like anyone who like, you know, kind of said shit.
It's very Old Testament.
It is.
It's, yeah.
Like I love the way like we're hinting at rebellion here. So like what, you know, we banished the undead, and people were like, well, hey, that's my wife, and then they were just like, no, you weren't with it, homie. You got to go.
You're gone too.
You're gone. Bye. So I love that, like, you know,
Truly brutal. Yeah.
I love that there's kind of like, you know, there's like, God, what's the word? I'm losing the word. Just how I know we need to wrap the episode up.
Yeah, it's late for you, and me, but the
word,
the word,
think euphemistic about like rebellion and everything here.
Yeah,
it's very interesting to me. I
love to send a message, and when it doesn't work, send an even broader message.
Mm-hmm. I do like. I really love that aspect of. It's cool armor. Like I actually really like this set like a lot.
Oh yeah, it looks fantastic.
Like it looks neat,
especially as you become more kind of undead and gross. Like
mm-hmm.
you almost look like it almost looks like the golden. I don't know how to say it. Like it looks like a mask of sorts. That'd be 6 deaths.
Okay.
Six
Six is a good number. That's a number I can live with. Now let's go talk to our guy and then
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we gonna see if we can give him a new?
go talk to our guy and then we'll close it off.
before we lose more words.
Yeah.
This is like sundowning, but in at midnight. Slightly different.
For sundowning in the sunless seas, sunless realms. I don't.
So yeah, sure, something like that.
Sunless seas is the Fallen London game.
That's the game. Yeah. Played a lot.
Which I
of that
have on
game,
my
actually.
Switch. I actually meant to play it because I got really into the idea of people having bad times on boats.
Oh well, yeah,
For like a
but
hot
that's-
minute there, and I was just like, I need to play games with people having bad times on boats.
That is that's a game where you have a lot of bad times in the boat.
I understand that is the chase.
Oh yeah.
I really,
Oh,
God,
yeah.
I really wanted to get into to the Fallen London thing, but it was so much of a commitment. I'm not in college anymore. Like if that came out, I used to be really hardcore into Kingdom of Loathing.
Mm-hmm.
And I played Kingdom and Loathing when I was working at the computer lab, so like for hours on end. And so but if I had fucking Fallen London shit when I was working in the computer lab,
Oh,
holy
absolutely.
shit, like my life would be completely different.
Then shall we begin? Bearer of the dark sign.
Let's do it, yo. Let's get some fucking stats, son. So we got this big ass sword. We're gonna need some fucking stamina to swing that bitch around, or some endurance. So let's put a point in endurance. It gets us to 110 stamina. That's pretty good. Oh, look at that. We could draw out more. Let's draw out more, yo.
Let's go. I hope we could draw out 6.
I think we're gonna go up vitality for that one. Just because it's a heavy sword, we want to be able to swing that shit around.
All will suit.
Oh,
You have attained ample strength.
so we're all strunked up.
Okay, that's all we can get.
Yeah, that's all we can get. But now we got to take a look at ourselves because
Our Lord.
we're
Oh,
not. Yeah,
gross.
it's rough. Derby is not doing so good.
What happens when you're in Kindle? Do you?
I don't know. Let's find out. I was going to go back to the bonfire, and I was like, we don't need to go back to the bonfire, baby. We can just
On
do it
this
right here.
game,
Boom. Oh, that's right. Look at that.
nothing.
Nothing. We're still real fucked up looking because we're all.
Like the bear of the
if I
dark
look at-
side.
If our inventory is it in here? Is that the way? Where is it? I think it's on our status. Hollowing 29. Let's see. Yeah, hollowing. The degree to which this character is cursed, the character will turn hollow if the curse grows too severe. So we're severely hollowed right now. I think this keeps going up, like as we just die from here on out. It just keeps going and going and going, and we are. I'm pretty sure this is as hollow as it gets. I want to see.
Wow.
Let's take a look at what Derby. Yeah, we're
Oh
not.
boy.
But you can see that, like, we've got these, like, the tree roots growing.
Oh yeah, just like our friend.
Yeah, like, it's not, look at our spine. It's just, like,
It's real bad.
popping through our skin and shit. But the tree roots are growing out through kind of the dark sign that, if we remember, is, like, kind of situated over our heart, kind of where it is, and these roots, these like scar tissue roots, are growing out from it. So yeah, so that's where Derby's at.
Derby's taking a journey right now.
Derby is taking a journey right now, and that's all we can say about it.
She doesn't seem upset.
Let's see.
I would do anything.
You got anything for us?
As I have said,
No, nothing new.
Okay.
Just that we have ample strength.
Yeah,
So-
don't get stronger.
Yeah, we have ample strength. Oh, thanks for rating the message. Let's talk to this guy before we go.
Gaining admission to the Legion is a matter of some ceremony. Inside their keep, snuffing out the flames of 3 altars opens the door to the wolf blood. Even accursed undead want to believe they're special, it seems. I pity the sorry souls.
What's this guy?
Gaining admission.
Okay.
Gaining admission.
Gaining admission. I like how he starts that, like, kind of like in kind of this like weird kind of jocular kind of playing around sort of voice, and then, in the end he's just very kind of grim about it all.
Yeah, exactly. I guess even they want to think.
Yeah.
Ugh, okay.
Yeah, Derby's doing rough. All
Poor
right,
Derby.
so there we go. That's and we're back.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So next time we will tackle the crucifixion forest or whatever.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some wonderful crucifixing in the forest.
Yeah, we are. We're gonna find out why it's crucifixion forest or whatever.
I hope we find out and it's not as distressing as it sounds. Although I expect it will
I
be.
expect it will be too.
I expect it will be.
Trevor, pitch your shit. Tell the people where they can find you.
People can find me at No Cartridge. You can also follow me. I'm on Twitch and all the other places. No Cartridge as well. Blue Sky. You can find me No Cartridge. Just search No Cartridge.
There's a link in the description. Just click on it.
And you can follow me at Hagelbon. I have a book you can buy called Story Mode, and I'm working on all sorts of exciting stuff. So, you'll be hearing more and more from me as I continue to make content now that I'm less employed.
Yeah, so go and subscribe to Trevor's Patreon, No Cartridge, because they're putting out all kinds of good shit, and they're going to continue to putting out good shit
So
over
true.
there.
We're gonna.
Yeah, you got people that come in and talk to you about shit, Trevor. It's good.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
A good time.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Talk about anime. You still talking about Homicide? You talking about?
It's been a minute, but we're gonna get back to that.
Yeah, they're talking about Homicide. Where else are you gonna find someone talking about Homicide that's actually smart and knows what they're talking about? You're not.
It's not gonna happen a lot. No,
No,
it's just not.
no.
Yeah.
So no
yeah.
Cartridge. That's where you got to go.
Oh, thank you.
Me, like we redid the Patreon, so now the $1 tier gets you the Adventure Gamers Clubhouse, where we are doing a new classic adventure game every month. This month for June, we did Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge. We had previously done The Secret of Monkey Island to gear up for that. Then we did Monkey Island 2. In July, we are going to do The Curse of Monkey Island to wrap out that kind of classic Guybrush Threepwood trilogy, and then from there we're not going to go straight to the next Monkey Islands. We're going to take a break. We're going to go do something wild and weird, and maybe French. Maybe we'll do some weird French game.
Ooh,
okay.
But
$1 gets you that. $1 gets you an adventure game every month. Let's play with me. Just kind of playing through these games and talking about it, and we're going to talk about history and feelings and what games are doing and how adventure games evolve and move around and when they work and when they don't. And hopefully we're just going to play good games, because that's what we're trying to do these days. But maybe we'll play some bad games. And then of course there's always the continuing adventures of Vesper Hesperides, the worst man in Cyrodiil at the $5 tier. Go over to the Patreon, subscribe. We're going to change things up. I might start writing. That might become a new tier to get me writing, because, yeah, why not? But until then, we got the Adventure Games Club, and we got Vesper Hesperides, and then we've got this pod. Go check out the podcast I did with Abnormal Mapping. Link to that will be in the show description. So you can listen to me talk with Jackson and M about Monkey Island, because that's a good time. We have a real great time talking about adventure games, and what a baby Jackson is. Yeah. You can find all my shit at Dia Lucina. It's just plug Dia Lucina, one word, into everything. You will likely find me. That's the easiest thing you could possibly do, because I make it easy.
It's so good having one name.
I make it easy to find me or to block me. So that's always been my stance. Until next time, remember, this is the best of all possible souls, because all is for the best. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Okay. God, what?
Derby does look rough when she's doing that fist bump.
Derby looks really. God. Derby, you're this is dire. The fun thing is you can actually have the firekeeper reverse it,
Oh, really?
and it's stupid expensive.
That's funny.
It's like it costs like 5,000 souls per level.
I mean, it makes sense because they're just like, I'm sure people did that and they were like, what is going on? I need to fix this now.